All right. Hi, Ubisoft. How's it going? Uh, how's the Division 3 coming along? I'm making this video because I have some concerns about the Division and where you guys may take the direction of the series. And I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking about the gameplay, the core mechanics, how they work, and just overall the presentation of the game so far, from the first game to the second game to whatever else you guys are planning on doing visually. I think it's great that you guys are talking about making the Division 3 and that you already are working on it. So on your website here, it looks like I saw the job openings that you got going on here. This is good. I like the fact that you guys are looking for people to work on the game, and this is great. I'm glad to know that this game exists and that you are trying to continue the series. Now, here's where I have some concerns. So recently you guys were talking about this game, Division Heartland, and you canceled it. So that didn't work, which as a player concerned me because I didn't want a free-to-play Division game. I don't think anybody that plays the Division wanted to actually play a free-to-play Division game. I mean, it's great that we can play Division and we can play it for free, but we all know that the game would have been full of microtransactions, and those microtransactions would have probably been so expensive that no one would want to buy anything unless they had that kind of money to burn, which is probably what the whole point is to get those people to spend all their money on it. But you know what I mean. No one was going to like this idea. I don't know if that's why you canceled it or it just wasn't working gameplay wise, so you were like, we have to scrap it. Sorry, we got to start over and do something else, right? But here's the problem. You made another free-to-play game that got delayed, apparently. Let's talk about this here too. You were also working on the Division Resurgence, another free-to-play game. So the first one got canceled and this one had a beta, it looks like, but I don't even know if you guys are even going to release this. Let me see. The Division Resurgence on Google Play. Unregister. Oh, I registered for this? I forgot I did that. I wanted to try the game out. It was updated here. It was a year ago. You have a trailer for it. You know, you have all this stuff that you announced about it. Gameplay walkthrough. Dark Zone. There's a Dark Zone in here too. I didn't even know that. Yeah. It was delayed. So at some point you guys delayed the Division Resurgence according to this article here. And so after that, I guess we don't know anything else about it. You haven't talked about it at all. So it's kind of concerning. Is this gonna get canceled too? Or this game means a lot to a lot of players like myself. I remember when I first played this game and day one, I remember picking up my copy for this and it was so hype. We had a line outside of the GameStop. The advertising for this game was top notch. You guys really knocked it out of the park when it came to presentation and player expectation, like, because we expected a lot. Now that's where I think things kind of fell apart on launch day, when a lot of the stuff that you showed in the CGI trailer, the reveal of the gameplay, did not pop up in the actual game. So this goes to point number one here. The advertising needs to match the actual product. We live in a timeline right now where people don't want to spend $70, $80 on a video game and get a product that wasn't the same thing that was advertised to them or revealed to them in that gameplay reveal, you know? Division 1 had tons of different elements that were not put into the final product. These are things that could be implemented today. With the technology that we have today, we could see that in Division 3. Now, it comes down to whether or not you want to actually do that. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I'm gonna pull the video up right now and we are going to go frame by frame almost and like analyze what's going on the screen, because I think people deserve to play a game that looks like how you presented it back 12 years ago. Okay, like this was 12 years ago, by the way. Let's go through the footage here. Okay, so you got the Christmas music playing, right? Everything sounds good, but you know there's something wrong because you start seeing all of this like trash everywhere inside. Things are broken up. What is going on? What is this game, right? Like look, you got dogs running around outside here. The presentation was awesome, right? This was crazy. People were like, what is this? Ubisoft might be cooking right now. And then that's when you see your first look at the device and the agent pops up and you're like, whoa, okay, look at this. I'm gonna pause right here. Okay, so this is where things went wrong from the very beginning when you show the first two agents in co-op, right? This is not what it looks like when you play the game. I mean, it looks similar, but there's gonna be things that pop up that I believe should pop up in the main game of Division 3, okay? We're gonna keep it playing.
I heard that gunfire. Nick, check your map, see if there's anything in the area.
See that? You got the dialogue. There it is right here. You see that? You see, that's not in the game. That's not in the game. That's not in the game. This whole animation, I'm gonna play it again.
Nick, check your map.
This should be in Division 3. Look at that. What is that? Look at this. This happens, yes, but it happens so differently because it zooms out, and then you're able to scroll through the entire map of the area, which is good. I like the way it's shown in the games, right? I like the way they show it, but damn, could you imagine if it appeared like this and looked a little bit more, less on the, you're suddenly looking at some kind of digital map and just showing everything, and it kind of fades out the details of, like, you know, everything around you like it does here, kind of, but like focus in on the map, like have a vignette around everything, right? That would be awesome. And my camera is acting up. I have to like put up a little hand here to stop it from moving. I don't know where I am on the, Jesus, that's annoying. I'm gonna have to move myself around just a little bit, excuse me. This is what we should have gotten, something like this. The animations and how they popped up, how they appeared when your agent is looking at the menu on their watch. There should have been some kind of like detail put into the watch in the animation, just like shown right there. That would have gone crazy. I don't know if you're planning that for the Division 3, but I really don't think so. I don't know. I have no idea with y'all. Like, I have no idea with y'all. If we see some kind of gameplay reveal of Division 3 and you show this again, it's going to be expected, because the fan base did not forget this trailer. They did not forget. Okay, so we're gonna keep playing this, but watch how everything is shown to you in here. This is not what people got when we played the game. This is not it, but this is so cool. The concept is there, but I think this could be shown in the actual game. I have a feeling if you put your heads together, you can figure something out here, because this was, oh my God, I can't describe how cool this looked. Look at that. It's like a radio.
That police station's going critical. Let's head up that way.
And that's the problem. You guys show off cool concepts, but when the game isn't going to look like that, don't show all of this. Don't sell us something that's not going to be given to us. Here we go. We're going to get into, is this gameplay of the actual fighting? No, this is them looking around at people and scanning people. We are not doing that in the game. Not really. You're not really scanning for people who are contagious. You don't really do that. You kind of just scan for enemies. Whenever you're scanning stuff, it's always just like the scenery that's already been destroyed, and it's of that, oh, what do you call it? It's not an X-ray. It's a, that visualizer that pops up that shows you events that have previously happened. That's cool. That happens everywhere in this game. There's tons of points on the map that have that. But I don't remember ever scanning for people to see if they were contagious or not. That actually gives a whole level of immersion that I don't think any of the games really show that level of it. Like, I don't think so. I don't remember all of that happening, especially when you're walking around looking at people. You just kind of just see people and you just assume that most of the people are contagious. Like, that's really it. That's what I remember about the game. I could be wrong. Please, anybody that's watching this, leave a comment down below. Please correct me.
Guys, I got you on my map, so I will head your way.
Sweet, see you in a sec.
I'll meet you up on the corner.
Okay.
Yeah. See, so this is what co-op feels like.
It's clear up this far.
But
Intersection's
it
clear.
also doesn't.
There's some, like,
And I'll explain that in a second. I'm just a random guy, right? I don't want to sound like I know how to make your game better than you do. I really don't. I don't design games at all. I just look at things from like a visual perspective, and I critique things based off of like how, not just how it makes me feel when I'm playing it, but like how immersive it is. I want to get lost in the world, but I don't want to be thinking about what could have been all the time when I'm playing the game. That's just depressing. You know, like I don't want to be playing the game going, wow, they could have given us this, but then they just decided not to for some reason. Then why did they advertise it like that? You see what I mean? You keep doing that to people and eventually they're going to turn on you because they're going to be like, they're never going to give us good gameplay that looks just like what they showed us. What's the point of doing that? What's the point of disappointing people on purpose? Who does that? What company does that? Anyway, I'm just saying, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going.
I think we should come back later. I think we should go to the police station first.
See, the gameplay feels like this, but the way that the people were interacting with the gunshots going off and running away, they don't do that in either of the games, okay? They don't do that. They do not, okay? They run in circles, they run everywhere, it don't make no sense. Like, here we go. Here's the gameplay. This is when people went crazy. Because you scan, that's one of the things that you do in the game, right? That matches, kind of, right? Here we go. This is where it happens. This is right here where this happens. This made people freak out because you open up the menu again. Instead of going to the world map, you go into, what is it, inventory, skills, something like that? Yeah, skills. And look at how the skills are arranged on this UI, this HUD UI hybrid kind of thing. This is really good. It could have been a little bit more visible, but yeah, this is just the gameplay reveal. Of course, it's not going to be exact, but this doesn't even match anywhere close, nowhere close to what we got in the game. It's just like this big menu in the main games, this big menu with all the guns and all the stats and numbers everywhere. If we could get something similar to this, something on the watch that opens up, and then when the watch opens up, it gives you everything, but it's like close to the character, like they're actually looking at the watch menu instead of viewing a whole screen to the right of what they're actually looking at, but you can't see it. You're just looking at this giant orange block in front of you. I would love it if you somehow made it just a little bit more transparent and a little bit more visible here, because it's just kind of giving you a bunch of stuff. There's like a point system on here. I don't really know what half of these are. They're not in the main game. I don't know what any of these skills originally were supposed to be, but they look really cool, and I think you should put all of this in the third game, because I don't know what this knife ability is here. I don't know what this like pipe bomb looking thing is. What is that? I don't know what any of this is, but it looks like you had a point system for this stuff. Looks like you had some kind of different gameplay where you had to equip things based off of how many points you had on your character, and you just equip it and then you re-equip stuff. You know, you mix and match things together for like support, defense, some healing, and some DPS, stuff like that. It looks like you had some kind of idea and you never did it. I remember the point system actually. You did use the point system for specialization. In Division 2, there were specialization points for a specific class. Like you had the super sniper looking thing, you got the crossbow. There was some other stuff going on in Division, like these super weapons that you could get. I can't remember what they're called right now. That's why I'm calling them super weapons, because I don't remember what they were called. That's where the point system was in. That's what I remember the point system being for. There was something else too, and I can't remember right now. It's been so long since I played the game. This would have been really cool. I don't know what any of this is, but once again, try to put some of this in the game. It looked like there's some hand-to-hand combat going on here. That looks like it's you disarming someone. That would have been crazy. That would have been next level shit. Just saying. Look, come on. Let's keep going.
I'm gonna pull them out. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
So yeah, you're picking all of your skills before the battle, and then you just go into the battle. That's cool. I hope you do that in the next game.
Two on the left, one on the right.
I'm gonna skip ahead. So I skipped ahead a little bit, and this is when things got really crazy for the gameplay, because at the bottom here where it shows Megan and Bronson, there's Chris. He's AFK, but he's on a tablet. I didn't talk about it earlier, but what do you mean he's AFK and he's on a Division tablet? What does that mean? Well, let's skip a little bit ahead right here.
Fill you guys up.
Nice, thank you.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
Oh, what's up, Chris? Welcome to the battle, dude.
Alright, group buff coming your way.
Good, thanks.
Nice.
Hold on, ooh, I'm getting shot at now.
Okay, I don't know what kind of ability that was. I didn't catch all the details of what that scanning ability was, but clearly it's like for buffs or something. But somebody is on a tablet from wherever else they are. I don't know how this mechanic was supposed to work, but this Chris person, wherever he is not an agent. Maybe Chris is running a support class, but he's like not in agent form right now. Maybe Chris is supposed to be support as the guy behind the computer. If that's the case, that is next level stuff that we need in the Division 3 game, because there's no way you put this in the gameplay and didn't give that to people. Yes, we have a drone that follows us around and heals us and stuns people. Yes, I get it. It's there. We have the drone. But like, how cool would it have been if somebody didn't really want to play and they wanted to like interact with the game still, and they didn't want to be an agent? They could be somebody that's support and just like give buffs to their team. Really passive. They don't really do anything, but they're like watching as the eye in the sky as the drone. How cool would that be? The option to do that would be insane. You didn't do that. I hope you're thinking about doing that. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, go around the back.
All right, moving.
That's in the game. Shooting through objects, that's in the game.
One more. Watch out, on the left, on the left.
Yep.
Maybe it's not as detailed as that,
Yeah,
but it's there.
No one doing it.
Wow. He's like
Must be an elite, yeah.
yeah.
I'll move to mark him now.
I can't see him. I cannot get a shot.
Okay, and everything just then, I didn't say anything for all that talking that they were doing, because that is what the gameplay is like. That's very accurate to what the gameplay is like when you're playing with random people, or if you're playing with friends. It's like that. It's really like that. It is.
Chris, can you mark him or something?
Hold on, I think I got him.
Here, look at
Yeah,
this.
got him.
He is marking him with the drone, and you're shooting through the object. Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now.
Let's
Please.
check out the inside.
All right, I need to hop out. I'll see you guys later, though.
See you later.
And see, he left after that. He was assisting his team and he said, I gotta go. See you guys later. And he just pieces out. Watch this. Look at how he pieces out. He goes,
Yeah, right.
he
behind
goes,
you.
eventually, I think he disappears, right? I think he leaves the team or something, or does something else. See, offline, but he was on a tablet, whatever that, oh, he's gone.
Locked up in here.
Look at that. That's beautiful. I hope that's in Division 3. Once again, I keep saying that, but this is another feature too. Look at how everything's being scanned. That's in the game. That's normal. Yep. But here we go. You see this? Food, water bottle. Watch the water bottle. I remember people talking about this. Just that animation alone right here. Just that animation alone had people going, oh, you're picking up items in the world. You don't see that in a lot of video games. You really don't. You really don't. What you do in video games is you do this. Let me let me give you a visual of what you see in video games. Your character just grabs things like this, and then they just pick it up. Or they don't even grab anything at all, and they just stand still like, and they grabbed everything on the table. This game had people picking stuff up and putting it in their bag, or just like, I don't know, absorbing it into the void that is their body. I don't know. So like, where is that? I just, man, okay. You do pick up stuff, but it's not like that. It's not how y'all showed it. And at the time, there were games that I think were doing that. So just saying, just another detail that I'm praying you think about putting into Division 3. Let's keep it moving.
Listen, the armory is out back. Take whatever
You're scanning everything,
the code's
right?
SH-1023.
Yeah.
Code.
That's
Armory.
kind of what it looks like in the game, but that detail's a little different. That detail's a little different. That doesn't always happen.
Okay.
All right, this part here. So I believe there's an item in here. Yep.
Nope, that's next.
There's the weapon right here, the strong box. And those are in the game. Those are in the game. But look how it appears. Look at that.
Sick. You better get it out before you lose it.
Okay,
Look
I've
at
got
that.
my flare ready to go.
Cool. I'll get the door.
You good?
So if you also paid attention, this is them extracting, actually. I remember this part because they extracted here. I don't know if you heard that,
You better get it out before you lose it.
but the dude said that get that out of the area before, you know, we lose it or whatever. This was extraction gameplay. We all know what happened with the extraction gameplay. The dark zone, the toxic mess that is the dark zone. Okay, I'm really thinking about Division 2's dark zone. We'll talk about it later. But this right here had people going crazy. They were like, what do you mean it's also an extraction shooter? So it's PvE, PvP, and extraction? And then sometimes it's all three put together? Insane.
Let's go.
This is the end of the trailer too.
Dude, check out Manhattan.
We should go over that later. All right, extracting. Got about 90 seconds.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's another group of players. Brace for PvP.
You guys ready?
Yep. Okay, online open world RPG. Is it online? Yes. Is it an RPG? Yeah. Is it open world? All right, in some cases, not really. But it is open. It's open to a degree. I think it's a little bit more open than Division 2, kind of, in some ways, at times. There's another mode in this game that you guys, I think, completely dropped the ball. I don't know how this is possible because you got it right the first time. It's the Dark Zone. The Dark Zone was the extraction area. It was that big open area where you could run into random players and you could actually become friends with these people just from trying to survive out there. That's how good this mode was. It's like what's happening right now with Arc Raiders, where people are just running into random players and they're just like, yo, I'm friendly. Can we all just extract? That's really what the gameplay was like. And my camera's doing it again. Let me just stop the thing. Stop. There we go. It's, oh my God, that's annoying. I gotta stop doing that. Every time I played the Dark Zone in Division 1, I enjoyed myself. I can't say the same for the Division 2. Because in Division 1, you could run around and you can like run into players or you could hide from players. Because if you saw a whole group of people, you're like, I don't know. I don't think I can trust that. And every now and again, you'd run into one other person and you would just emote and tell them, yo, I ain't gonna do nothing. Either you teamed up with them or you just like went opposite directions and you just kept going. That's all it was. And everybody knew the rules of the Dark Zone. The only time we should all really be concerned is when you have somebody that's going rogue. Then everybody has to kill the person who's rogue. Okay, we just have to do that because you never know how strong that person actually is. Because some people went rogue and they had broken builds. We're going to talk about that later. Broken builds, and they would kill everybody in like 2 hits. There was no end to that madness, by the way. But I could run from these people. I could hide from these people. I could go into safe rooms somewhere in the Dark Zone and just sit there for a second and just wait. I can't really do that in the Division 2 because the Dark Zones were separated into 3 different spaces that were so small in comparison to the first game that I couldn't go anywhere without running into somebody incredibly toxic that's running a build that no one can beat, and they're all in front of the main gate of the Dark Zone. A small space where players are supposed to be toxic, but then there's no space to like separate us, so we're all just like clumped together in one spot. And most people weren't even trying to be mean to other players and grief players or nothing. Most players were trying to just get good items and leave. Level up their Dark Zone points and get out of there because no one wants to stay there that long. But I couldn't even go in at some point because I couldn't make it through the front gate. I couldn't make it through the front gate. That's what we got to talk about next. All right, we're gonna talk about the Dark Zone real quick. Let me pull it up. 3 separate Dark Zones. At first, it was like, okay, 3 different Dark Zones, 3 different locations. We have to go to different parts of the map to get there. Fine, whatever. But then you actually play the Dark Zone, right? And you're going, I sure am dying at the front gate a lot. I sure am having a hard time trying to run around without running into people with broken builds, killing me every 5 seconds. We're going to get into the balancing issue in a second. We're going to get into that too because, oh my God, it was awful. We don't want to just stay in the Dark Zone forever. No one stays there forever, right? I don't think so. But like, I didn't want to stay there forever. I wanted to get my stuff and leave. And I couldn't even do that. Oh man, when the Dark Zone first dropped for Division 2, it was like, how do you expect me to play this game? It was really bad. And it stayed that way. I don't think I went into the Dark Zone at a certain point and I never came back. I never came back in there. I don't know how many people were actually playing the Dark Zone, but it was just not fun, okay? Let's go into another part of this game. The Dark Zone changes are nothing compared to all of the videos that I used to see of people explaining how to make broken builds in the game that was not just making the PvP in Dark Zone absolute hell, it was also making the regular PvP absolute hell. I couldn't even take it seriously. because I would walk up to somebody and they would have like an SMG or a shotgun, and it did not matter how much work I put into my build for defense, they would just melt my armor away. Look how many videos people are still making about builds. Oh boy, I cannot, okay? All right, okay? There's a lot of videos, some of these are from the same people because they're still making Division 2 content, but like, oh my God, wow. Do you know how annoying it is to play a game like this and to put work into a build, spend hours playing the game, trying to just get the perfect build for your character so you can play PvE and PvP, and then you finally go into PvP thinking, okay, this has to work. This build has to work, right? When somebody kills your character in this game, after you put hours of work into the build, thinking it's going to work for PvP, and then they just look at you, pull out like a pistol or a SMG. I know the SMG builds, oh my God. And then they would just trivialize all the work that you put into the character, making you feel like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I really don't want to play PvP anymore. This is, I'll just stick with PvE. Yeah, that's great. I don't belong here. But that's a whole part of the game that you're missing out on because, I don't know, you guys didn't balance the game well enough. Like, how hard was it to just turn everybody's stats to like these base stats so people could just play with the weapons that they want to play with and just use whatever build they want and not have to worry about min-maxing everything? Like, how hard was that? You guys made it so that people can take the most broken versions of their builds and just play that and just shred through the health of everything. You had people playing PvP like they should have been playing the raid bosses. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was fighting against people that were using raid builds where they had to shred through as much armor on all of the bullet sponge enemies as possible in a short amount of time just to beat the mission and to get the new weapon. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was fighting a bunch of people that instead of fighting the raid boss, they decided to fight me instead. And I'm like, dude, I'm not one of the bullet sponge enemies. I will die in like 2 hits. Like, what are you doing? That's what it felt like. Not good. It didn't feel good. I had a friend of mine that I played this game with and we fell off of it after a while because the PvP was frustrating and PvE, we already knew how to do all that. So it was like, what do we do? A bunch of daily missions every day and just leave? Like, there's a whole other half of the game that we can't access because it's full of people using the same builds. You have people shotgunning me from like a distance and I would just drop. I'm like, oh wow, that sounds pretty fair to me. Shotgun just sniped me, that's great. Like, what is that? I'm over exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I'm talking about. The shotgun builds, SMG builds, the one-shot sniper builds that would just kill you. I'm just like, fuck. Holy shit, it was a mistake to come up in here. The hell's going on? This is sweaty. This is real sweaty. I swear y'all could do better. And let me talk about this real quick because I think what happened, oh, my camera's acting up here. Hold on. I think you guys can do better. I really do. I believe you can. I want to talk about something real specific with the balancing in your game. And Division 2 had something put into it that was unnecessary. All the reds and the blues and the... Let me pull it up real quick. There's something about this. This is where I think things went wrong with the balance of this game. So you added in this feature for the customization of your character, the gear, right? It wasn't the gear itself. It wasn't the loot, right? Like the bags, the gloves, the helmets, all that. It wasn't that. It was this right here. The red offensive, blue defensive, and the yellow skills. Trying to min-max your character around these 3 different things had to be the most stressful shit you have ever done. I don't know why it can't be you just put the shit on, you got the gear set talent, and you're done. Maybe just upgrade the weapon. That's it. Why? Why? It was so annoying. I got so sick and tired of having to put reds and blues and yellows and greens and purples. Like I couldn't. It was so annoying. Sometimes I was bashing my head in, metaphorically, into the wall, trying to figure out how to get enough yellows with my blues. Come on. Come on now. And you had people min-maxing to the point where they would just run up to you and they would just end your life immediately. It was like, brother, I'm trying to play the game. I'm not trying to like solve a damn math equation, all right? Fuck math. You know what I mean? I'm tired of math. Like I'm trying not to put so much effort into just putting stuff on my character that looks cool so I can feel cool when I'm playing the game. It's a video game. You get the point. It was totally trash. It was trash. I want this gone. If this is in Division 3, we are absolutely cooked. we're absolutely cooked. That means the balance is going to be horrendous as well, because you're gonna have people doing the same thing that they did in the PvE last time. There just needs to be a new system overall, like a point system, something. I think you can figure it out. I think you can figure it out given enough time. You can find a balanced system for this. And then once you find a balanced system for this, don't ever change it. That was another issue too. Don't ever change it. If no one's complaining, people are playing every type of build, there's no need to balance change things that don't need changes. I have to say it like that because for some reason in games like this, when no problems are seen with the balancing and people are just figuring out the game, some people online like to yell and scream about nothing, and then suddenly a weapon gets buffed that didn't need the buff and you're like, oh no, what are you doing? And then a gear set comes out one day and that gear set somehow goes really well with the gun you just buffed, and then we are screwed because everybody's going to be using that same weapon. No one's going to be using any other weapon, because why would you do that? You had people just running around with the strongest gun and you would die, and when you saw that pop up on your screen, you were like, understandable, I just need to get good. Maybe it was my strategy. Maybe there's something wrong with how I'm playing the game. And I like gaslit myself into believing that I was just so bad at the game that I just couldn't figure it out. And now I realized I ain't had the time to sit here and like min-max my build every day until I get to this. I just want to play the game. I just want to fight people and not have to worry about all the stats. Maybe just remove all the stats. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe just remove all the stats and have people just upgrade the gun. Just upgrade the gun, upgrade your armor or something. I don't know. Have an upgrade system instead of putting all this red, blue, yellow, green. Like, stop. Just stop doing that. Remove it. I want to play the game. I want to have fun. I don't want to have to solve a math equation every time I play the game. Once again, fuck math. Hey, this is Future Me speaking. I just wanted to go a little bit more in depth about what I meant by changing this gear system around. I don't think the Division 2 gear system with offensive, defensive, and skills should be in the third game at all. This just made things way more difficult, way more complicated than it needed to be, and it just took way too long to just get the right amount of these pieces here and to make sure that your build was perfectly set up with all this stuff over here matching everything. It was annoying. I really don't think this needs to be in the game again. This system here with these three sections of offense, defense, and skills made things way too complicated. It was so annoying to have to put all the gear sets over here and then match it with everything over here, and everything needed to be perfect so that my build was going to work. Like I got so fed up with this personally, and I just personally don't want to see this again. It was just taking too long. It was too much time wasted, and then it didn't even matter because I would run into people with broken builds in the game, and then it would just make all the time I spent look like it was worthless. And I don't want to really waste my time playing a game that I already love playing, but there's like this negative feeling of just like, what's the point, right? Why am I wasting all this time clicking all these numbers and pieces of stuff and it doesn't really feel like it's working sometimes? I'm going to bring you over here to the shade level system, and this was brought up in the expansion Warlords of New York. Really good expansion. I just didn't like the fact that you guys added something really good here in Title Update 8. And this could have been in the game from the beginning. This would have made everything so much easier to deal with. And you have the system right here. This would have solved so many problems with like balancing and just overall feel of game progression. All right. Okay, so you already had the system here. So the nodes that you're upgrading, there were the 5 stats: offense, defense, skills, miscellaneous, and scavenging. And then each node contains 4 different stats for the player to invest in. This was really good, right? But I would love it if somehow you guys could just take this system and make it the main system of upgrading your character, and that's it. No reds, no yellows, no blues. It says here that each stat, and I forgot about this, each stat can have 50 points invested into it before it's maxed out. Scavenging is the exception. Each point in scavenging rewards the player with their choice of either E-credits or any of the crafted materials. This is a really good system. I think it looked good when I first saw it. It was just that I had already put all this time into all the other stuff with the red, the yellow, the blue stuff that it was just another layer of I'm sorry, bullshit. It was just another layer of shit that I didn't want to sift through just to make my character stronger, okay? I would rather this be the main level of upgrading the character from day one. Only focus on this, because when it comes to offense, you already have everything here. Weapon damage, headshot damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, defense, armor, health, explosion resistance, hazard resistance. This is all here. It's all right here. Every time you upgrade one of these points, it's just upgraded for your whole character, and that's it. That's all you have to do. None of this extra stuff to put on the gear, none of it. Just remove that altogether. You have all the stats right here. Offense, defense, skills, miscellaneous, health boosts. There's no need for all of the gear mods that you put in here. There was no need for any of it. So I would love to just see this system right here for shade level and just leave it alone. No more customizing the gear with the weapons. No, just this with the shade level and everything being upgraded from the watch menu. Okay, and if you guys really don't want to get rid of the red, blue, and yellow pieces, okay, here's what you guys could do, and I hope you guys think of this, okay? Let me scroll down the gear mods. So you have all these different gear mods that, you know, do armor, bleed resistance, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, repair skill, all that stuff. Okay, but what if you got these symbols here, these main symbols, you redesign them a little bit, like the logos, redesign them, and then you have these microchips that you can attach to your character's watch. And when you attach them, it further boosts the buffs that you would get when you're done upgrading everything to maximum. So let's say you have these 4 sections here of, let me go back, offense, defense, skills, and miscellaneous, or let's say health boost. Let's say health boost, maybe not miscellaneous. Let's not add that as being part of the things to upgrade further, right? But let's say those are the 4: offense, defense, skills, and health boost. So what you would do is you could equip this microchip symbol of offense, and then you equip it onto the watch, and then it buffs the stats further for offense. And you can only select 2 of these. So you can have the combination of offense, defense, offense, skills, defense, not miscellaneous, I'm sorry, health boost, and skills, right? I think a lot of people are just going to end up running offense and defense because a lot of people just like doing damage, right? But me personally, I like to do damage, yes, but I'm more of like a skills user, so I would love to use defense and skills to further boost that, because yeah, offense is good, but I like to be support as well. So that would be really cool, and that's all you would have to do. No more complicated extra pieces to put on all that. None of this, none of any of this right here. Like, just this right here is like the most stressful thing to have to deal with. We already have the different brands and the different rarities of said brands. Then you already have to deal with the talents on these gear sets, and you can hear my dog in the background. Sorry. Then you have to deal with putting the red, the blue, the yellow, like it's so annoying. It is so annoying. I just want to play the video game. I just want to loot for cool items, guns, gear. That's it. If you make a system so complicated, people will not want to play the game that long. They will get frustrated. People don't want to put that much effort into a game just to play it. People want to be able to play the game, get the rewards, get that dopamine hit, and then leave, play something else later, right? And then when they come back into the game, they know they put some time into it. So yeah, their character's a little bit strong, right? But they don't want to have to compete with all these people by min-maxing a build for like 10 hours. Just so they could play a whole half of the game, the PvP. You see what I mean? People are just gonna, I don't know, play Helldivers 2. I could just hop into that game whenever and just play the game. It's that easy. It's that simple. It shouldn't be that complicated. I don't know why you guys made this so complicated. And then you introduced a better system for the whole thing that honestly could have just been in the game from day one. So I don't know what you guys are gonna do in the next game. I'm praying that you remove all this complicated BS and we can just play the game and not have to worry too much about having to put this much work into a build. I know I ended up ranting a lot and I was on a whole tangent for a lot of this too, but I really do think Ubisoft, you can make a good game here with Division 3. You can correct everything you did wrong the first 2 games. You could give us a giant dark zone, right? You could give us an even bigger main map of the game, wherever the location of the game is going to be set, right? You could give us a balanced PvE, PvP experience. You can do that. I believe that you can still do that. I have hope that you still can. I have faith that maybe you can. The last thing I'm going to talk about with this game is the customization of your character. In the Division 1, if I remember correctly, you used to be able to pick up clothing items, and you used to be able to put those clothing items on your character. In the main base, in the back of the room, there was a vendor for clothing, and you could purchase different clothing, and every now and again, the clothing would restock, or it would change over time. If I remember correctly, that's what that was like in Division 1. What happened to that feature in Division 2? I don't remember that being in the second game. I think you removed it. Instead, we got this shop, and we had to like spend money on all these different clothings or just play the events for all of these outfits. And do you know how annoying it was to have to do the same missions over and 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 over again just to get a fucking pair of shoes? Like, do you know how frustrating that is? You have to know, right? Because you designed it for the game. Like, you have to know. You have to know how stressful it is to play Division 2 and to be dedicated with it, seeing it just have all of these random microtransactions for stuff that was just in the game in the first game. Like, I just customized my character because I found a scarf somewhere in somebody's bag. Now I have to buy the scarf. Like, really? Oh my God. Man, that is annoying. I am praying that somehow this game does well day one and has some elements from Division 1 and Division 2, but the good stuff, not all of the extra stuff. I know you're probably going to put microtransactions in the game. I know you guys can't help yourselves. You might do it, and it's probably going to be terrible. I'm just saying it's going to be bad. I've been paying attention to this. You guys like all of your microtransactions. It's going to be $20 for a pair of shoes. Let's see, those knee pads, $50. You know, take it or leave it. So stupid. But I'm praying that the game is actually balanced. I'm praying that you guys actually put thought into how people spend their time, because that's really important. People don't want to waste time putting effort into a game that they really love, that they really respect. And then the game says, F you, I don't care. Give me your money anyway. And they're like, sure, but what am I getting for doing that? You get some digital cosmetic, maybe DLC expansion a year from now that might not add too much at all. Because let's be real, some of that DLC didn't add anything. Like, it was just rehashing some stuff that you've been to before. It's good. Don't get me wrong. Division, going back to New York was great, but New York wasn't snowy at all, you know? Remember Division 1, that atmosphere was fantastic, but like, I don't know, man. I hope it's a good location. I hope the game is good. Change some stuff up a little bit. Make sure that the game is balanced so that way PvP isn't something that people like to avoid instead of play. You have two types of Division players, people that play Division and people that play Division, okay? They will pick apart every detail of the first trailer that you give them day one, frame one of a trailer for Division 3, and they are picking everything apart. I would keep those players in mind, and then I would keep in mind the players that have never played Division before. What do you want that experience to be for them? Do you want it to be really good, or do you want them to think it's just like every other game that just wants their money, and you just want them to play the game, give them the money, and who cares about the updates? We'll get to that 2 years from now. To anybody that sees this video, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about Division 3. Do you think it's gonna be good, bad? Do you think the game is going to give us a reveal trailer and it's not going to live up to any of the expectations that the reveal trailer has? Leave a comment about that. I hope they don't do that again. Ubisoft, I hope you don't do that again. Please don't, because that will just, you guys are already, people already don't really like y'all that much right now. So man, that's it for the video. I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Peace.